Oh, what's good all day, fam? All right. Week 17 pretty much in the books. We got one more game left, Monday Night Football. And so just now, probably about 30 minutes ago, 30, 45 minutes ago, the 49ers just beat the Chicago Bears in a very, 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 very tight game. They beat them 42-30. So this is it right here. We got this game was literally all throughout the entire game, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, Caleb Williams, he went off in this game. I thought he caught up. I mean, a quarterback playing like this should win. I mean, this game went down to the wire. And you guys already know every single time when I get my chance, I'm going to state my case on two of my favorite quarterbacks, Caleb Williams and Justin Herbert. And I've been saying it all along how great of a player Caleb Williams is. I've been saying it all along, how Caleb Williams not only belonged in this league, but how Caleb Williams is going to end up being a top 5 quarterback in this league. And I think that he is showing that. And all the people who has been knocking my boy Caleb Williams since he's been drafted, they're eating their words now. Everybody. I think there's been very few people on planet Earth who actually thought Caleb Williams is going to be playing this well. Now, did the Bears lose? Yeah, of course they lost, but given the fact that the Bears are so far in advance with this being Ben Johnson's first year coaching the Chicago Bears, I don't think I know the entire NFC conference is being put on notice right now because Caleb Williams has arrived. Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson have arrived. And the thing about it is that every single week last year, I saw Caleb Williams getting better and better and better and better and better and better and better. And then he pushed that into the offseason. He worked his butt off in the offseason, and then he showed up in the regular season of this year, and now he's just getting better and better and better and better. And I even said that it's going to take time for Caleb Williams to gel into Ben Johnson's offense, so give him some time. But when he does arrive in this guy's offense, when he does gel into his offense and figure things out, because Ben Johnson is the perfect coach for Caleb Williams. I'm telling y'all, he is going to show out. And he has quickly excelled and advanced in this offense. Caleb Williams has finally figured out how to use his skill set and then gelled it into becoming a NFL quarterback. Synced it into becoming an NFL quarterback. You can't, that's scary for a talent like Caleb Williams. It's scary. This is only his second year, and you already know that he is going to keep just getting better. He is and he is the type of player who's stopped. He's not going to stop getting better. He has not reached his prime. His ceiling is extremely high. Caleb Williams threw for 330 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. He had 100 rating or 0.3. That was all Caleb. That last play of the game, I don't know if I can find it, but let me see if I can find the last play of the game. Let's see. Let me see if maybe I can just find the stats. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's a little better. But,
So is Janae Walker.
Throw it to the end zone. Clock is expired. 4 seconds left. Second and goal. Here is Williams. He's got to throw it to the end zone. Clock is expired. Williams keeps the play alive. He's looking. He's got to get rid of it. Retreating. He throws. Incomplete. It's over. And the Niners have won. 4 seconds left. Second and goal. Here it is. He's got to throw it to the end zone. Clock.
yeah, I mean, look, man, that was a tough play. That was a tough play. You know, he kept the play alive. He did what he had to do, but he just didn't have enough heat on that ball. He was, backtracked a little bit by the defense, pressured hard, but I mean, you gotta give credit where credit's due, man. Even though he didn't complete on that play, he still like throughout the entire game was just I'm just been so impressed with Caleb Williams, like how advanced he far and he has came. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the Bears can do in the playoffs. I really am. I think the Bears can actually go all the way. I honestly don't see an NFL team beating the Bears, to be honest with you. I think the Bears can beat the Eagles. I think the Bears can beat the Packers. I think the Bears can beat the Seahawks. I think the Bears can beat the Rams. I think the Bears can beat the 49ers. The 49ers has clinched their home field advantage. So they clinched the first seed. So the road to the Super Bowl is going to run through San Francisco, and San Francisco has home field advantage. So it's all in San Francisco's favor right now. And you have to give a great shout out to the coach, because he made this happen with all those injuries, and he figured out a way to keep things together. So San Francisco, I believe they're 12-4. Let me see. Let me see. I believe San Francisco is, let's see. Yeah, they're 12-4. They're 12-4 with the Seahawks leading the division. The NFC West is freaking dangerous. All three teams in the NFC West has over 10 wins. I mean, you got the Seahawks, they're at 13-3, 49ers at 12-4, the Rams at 11-4. The Rams really can't afford to lose tomorrow. I predicted them to lose. There was a bold prediction, but they really can't afford to lose. But I mean, that's going to be crazy. The next game, the 49ers' next game is going to be against the Seahawks. They're going to play against the Seahawks on January 3rd. And that's going to be, I think that's going to be a primetime game. But I don't know if that's a Sunday game or it's a Saturday game. That's going to be a crazy game. That's going to be a crazy game. The 49ers and the Seahawks, January 3rd. So that's going to be fun to watch. All right. And so let's see. Bears next game is going to be Monday against Lions. They should win that game. Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, the 49ers beat the Bears 42-30. I predicted the Bears I predicted Chicago to win this game 30-20. Said Chicago's going to beat the 49ers 30-20. They lost 42-38. So I was way off that. But hey, man, I'm still impressed. I'm happy that Caleb Williams did his thing. I mean, the Bears offense did much better than what I thought they was going to do against the 49ers defense. 49ers defense has been pretty good throughout the course of the year. And I also have to give credit to Brock Purdy. He threw for 300 yards. I think he had 3 touchdowns. Outside of that interception, Brock Purdy had a really good game. That pick was not really on Brock Purdy. It was just a great defensive play by Jalen Johnson. So now, given the fact that I've been on the Caleb Williams fan club since his USC days, I have to give credit. I have to give credit and stand correct on my criticism on Brock Purdy. Now, I've always said that Brock Purdy was a very overrated quarterback, but at the end of the day, he was. And I guess you could say he still is, and people are still thinking he's a top 5 quarterback. I cannot put Brock Purdy as a top 5 QB, but I will say this: he is a top 10, and he's really good. And he's playing much better than what I thought he would play. He is doing very well. He plays very well when starters are not in no more. And that's something that I wanted to see. And Brock Purdy has shown me enough for me to be a believer in Brock Purdy. I think he has done everything but win a Super Bowl, to be honest with you, and win an MVP. He has done everything that was asked of him. So Brock Purdy, if he can continue to keep getting better, and if he can continue to keep showing up and continue to not be the reason why the 49ers lose any games, that's a big part. Brock Purdy, to my understanding, has never been the reason why the 49ers lost games. He's had bad games. He's had terrible throws. Well, quarterback has it. But Brock Purdy is a very, very good quarterback. And you got to, and coming from me, it's coming a lot from me that he's good, and he is a top 10. And I was impressed with how he went back and forth with Caleb Williams all night tonight. I was very impressed by that. So it was a very highly entertaining game from the start to finish. Both offenses was surprising me that they were how elite they were playing. The Bears are going to have to get their defense together. Their Bears defense was playing very well for the most part of this season. And right now they kind of fell apart, but I think they can get it right. I think they can get together going into playoffs. They got the Lions next week. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to win that, going to play that game and win that game and bring that momentum going into the playoffs. The Bears are fighting for a first seed, and that's something that they shouldn't be this far in advance. So, yeah, let's see. And is this a moral victory by the Chicago Bears? Even though I don't believe in moral victories in NFL, but we learned a lot in this loss, because the Bears, they're not supposed to be this far in advance, but this only being Ben Johnson's first year coaching the Bears. So I don't want to say it's been a moral victory, but I will say that I am highly impressed by Chicago, like I've said earlier. So that's that. So the Broncos and Chiefs, we talked about that game. I think that was the first game that started off week 17. And then the Vikings and the Lions. I think we talked about that game already. Talked about the Cowboys and Commanders. Talked about the Christmas games. And then Saturday football. Got you guys on prime time on that. And then so the Seahawks and the Panthers. This was a really, 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 really good game. And I will say that I said that the Seahawks was going to win 34-32. My younger brother, he said the Seahawks was going to win 31-20. My dad said the Panthers was going to win 23-19. And what was the outcome of that game? Seahawks and Panthers. Let me see. I know the Seahawks won, but I watched that game, but I can't remember what was the score. Oh yeah, Seattle beat. Let's see. Seattle beat the Panthers 7-10, and this game was it was fairly close throughout the entire game. And then Seattle, they pulled it through in the second half, while the Panthers can only get it done by scoring. I mean, can only put up 7 points. Bryce Young had a pretty off game. He had some major throws, he had some major plays, but but Bryce Young, he was kind of off. I think he did have like a rushing touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he had one rushing touchdown, nine carry, 27 yards in the touchdown, but he was awful in the passing game. 14 for 24, 54 yards, one pick, sacked 2 times. Bryce Young, he was going against the Seattle Seahawks defense. So, Seattle's defense was giving him absolutely nothing. Both defenses was playing very, very well throughout the entire game. I mean, given the fact that, it was, Seattle pulled it through in the second half, but the Panthers defense was pretty tough almost throughout the game. Sam Darnold was 18 to 27, 147 yards, one touchdown, one pick. He was sacked 3 times. So Sam Darnold was okay, and Kenneth Walker, he had some pretty solid runs. But his stats is not really showing that, but I watched the game. He was pretty good. And then Zach Charbonnet, 18 carries, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns rushing. So, Seattle, their defense looks really good, man. Their defense is really tough. So I think Seattle can get a couple playoff wins, but I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I don't really see that happening. But like I said, I think the Bears can pull it through. I really do. I think the Bears can make a run. And I'm not just saying that because of Caleb Williams. I just for some reason I feel like the Bears can just end up beating any team in the NFC, even though they're not as experienced. This team's not as experienced in the playoffs as you'll say the 49ers or the Eagles. But I just believe they can get it done. I just feel like they can. I don't know. I really do. I just feel like when the Bears, I just feel like they feel like when they get a shot, they get opportunity, they're going to do what they can to steamroll any team in the NFC. I don't think the Bears are afraid of anybody. I think the Bears have a quarterback who is highly confident, who believes he can make any throw, who believes he can play against any team, any defense, and then they have a offensive genius mind in Ben Johnson. So I don't know. I just feel like I can't really, and they have a potentially really good running game. I mean, I think they probably have. I don't know if they still do, but they had for a while. They had the best running game in the league, and you already know Ben Johnson. He specializes in the running game, and in any team that can have a quarterback that can make the plays when the plays are needed, be clutch, and show up, and the coach can call a good running game going deep into the playoffs, and then get that defense tightened and playing very well. That's a recipe to go deep in the playoffs, maybe even hit the Super Bowl, maybe even win the Super Bowl. So I'm telling y'all right now, look out for the Bears. They're good. They're really good. They played in San Francisco. That's another thing. They played in. I don't think they weren't. It wasn't a home game for the Bears. They went to San Francisco, and they played in San Francisco territory. And the game came down to a wire. So just don't be surprised if you see Chicago in San Francisco going to the Super Bowl in San Francisco and it not been the 49ers. Right now. But right now it's being laid out for the 49ers. 49ers control their own destiny. So that's that. And what are the next games? I said the Cardinals and the Bengals. My dad, he was like, I remember he did his prediction. He was saying that the Bengals was going to beat. He said the Bengals was going to beat the Cardinals 21-7. My brother said the Bengals was going to beat the Cardinals 41-17. I said the Bengals was going to beat the Cardinals 41-20. And yeah, I think me and my brother was a little closer on that game. And the Bengals beat the Cardinals 37-14. So not too far off. not too far off. Joe Burrow, he played well. The Bengals played well as a whole, and it doesn't really mean anything. Well, it means something, but it's not like it's not the Bengals are out of the playoff. This means that they can carry this momentum going into next season. These are what wins mean for teams that these are what wins mean for teams that are not in the playoffs. They can bring the momentum. Football is a game of momentum, and they can bring this momentum going going to the offseason, and then the offseason going to the regular season. So it's a great victory by the Bengals. You want to finish the year off strong, something to look forward to, something to build off on. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Joe Burrow. I think it's just talk. I think it's just a lot of speculation. Joe Burrow never really said out of his own mouth that he wants to leave Cincinnati. He just kind of just gave sort of, I guess you could say, ideas, I guess you could say. But he's fine. I mean, I don't see him leaving the Cincinnati. He's staying right there in Cincinnati. And he had a great game. He was nearly perfect. 24 out of 31, 305 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times. He had a great game. And then they have a really good backup, in Joe Flacco. I think Cincinnati is going to try to keep Joe Flacco. The Bengals is just they just need to draft well. They just need to draft well, and they need to take care of Joe Burrow. That's what they need to do. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting offseason because I think we have concerns about Max Crosby if he's going to end up staying with the Raiders. They know there's going to be some speculation about if Joe Burrow is going to ever ask for a trade, or if the Bengals are going to trade Joe Burrow. But I don't see any of that stuff happening. I don't think Max Crosby is going to leave the Raiders. I honestly don't think that. I would love to see him if he does leave the Raiders. I'd love to see Max Crosby come to the Chargers, but I don't think the Raiders is going to let Max Crosby go. There is just sometimes there's these players who just can't leave their franchise, and I feel like Max Crosby is one of them. And I don't feel like Joe Burrow is one of those guys, but I just don't think Joe Burrow is going to leave Cincinnati. I just don't think he is. I think he knows that he needs his guys, and he's been with Jamar Chase his entire career. So, what did Jamar Chase had? Jamar Chase had 7 catches for 60 yards, 3 touchdowns. So T. Higgins 4 catches, 59 yards. Joe Burrow distributed the ball. A lot of guys had different catches and stuff. So catches and yardage. So yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so that's that. But it's going to be very, very interesting off season. It's going to be even more. It's going to be a very interesting playoffs. I mean, these playoffs is going to be very, very. It's going to be a fun. It's going to be a fun, entertaining playoff games by all these teams. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of these teams are equally matched. In the NFC, AFC, not so much. AFC is not as powerful this year, but I think the Chargers can make some noise, but the NFC definitely has the powerhouse team this year. Definitely, we're talking about the Rams, the Seahawks, the Bengals, the Bears, then 49ers. It definitely looks like the Super Bowl, the bar is going to be raised by an NFC team by the second year in a row. I mean, you got the Eagles. Again, so it's definitely the NFC definitely is a powerhouse right now. Then so the Steelers and the Browns. So my dad, he said the Steelers he predicted the Steelers to beat the Browns 19-17. I said the Browns was going to beat the Steelers 24-23. My brother said the Browns was going to win 19-17. So the margin, my brother's a little closer on the margin. I mean, on the points scored, but I was very close on the margin. I said the point differential was going to be decided by one point. I think the Browns beat the Steelers. Was it 12-13? I think it was 12-13. Let me see. So let me see. No, I was off. Yeah, the Browns beat the Steelers 13-6. I'm thinking about the Eagles and the Bills. That's what I'm thinking. Too far off. I said the Browns was going to win 24-23. They won 13-6. So I was a little far off, but this game right here, this was a very great game. This was obviously a very highly defensive game. And Jador Sanders, let me start on. So in the first quarter, the Browns, they were looking really good. And then throughout the entire game, they were flat out dead throughout the entire game. So, but with that being said, I watched this game. Shador looked really good. He made some key throws. Aaron Rodgers struggled throughout the entire game. The offense struggled throughout the entire game. The Browns gave up nothing at all. And Aaron Rodgers, I think it was like a throw that he could have made, and it was something. I'm trying to remember what happened, but it was a throw that Aaron Rodgers was. Oh yeah, I forget the guy's name, but it was number 11, and it went right through his hands. He should have caught it, and he didn't, and it was game over for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Rodgers brought the team all the way down and to the goal line, and well, not the goal line, but they were knocking, and number 11 could have get it done. I can't remember his name, but it was wide receiver. But that throw wasn't on Aaron Rodgers. It was just on the guy. Just couldn't make the throw. He just couldn't make the play. Aaron Rodgers was 21 for 39, 168 yards, and no touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked twice. Warren, he had a pretty solid game, 12 carries for 64 yards. And Shador Sanders, he was pretty solid. He had 2 picks, though. He had 17 completions for 23 out of 23 attempts. 186 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. It was sacked twice. So this was actually a really, really good game if you actually watched it. But I was impressed by Shador, and I was also impressed by Aaron Rodgers. I thought Aaron Rodgers played very, very well. So that's that. Yeah. But let's see. Well, I don't think he played very, very well, but I think Aaron Rodgers was solid throughout the game. That he was. Jaguars, Colts. My younger brother said the Colts was going to win 27-20. My dad said the Colts was going to win 17-10. I said the Jaguars is going to win 34-24. And dang. Yeah, Jacksonville did win this game. Yeah, 23-17. So yeah, that's before. So also, I was a little off on the point differential, but Trevor Lawrence, he's another quarterback. He played pretty well. He didn't get a touchdown this game, but he was kind of efficient. He was 23 for 37, 263 yards. He had 2 rushing touchdowns though. Trevor Lawrence had 2 rushing TDs. So that was a major thing. 8 carries, 26 yards. And so he Trevor Lawrence, he's getting better. That's one thing I forget to Trevor Lawrence. He's getting much better. Phillip Rivers, it's like I was giving Aaron Rodgers his props. I mean, hopefully these guys are in their 40s and they both play pretty well. Now the stats wise don't show it, but I saw some key throws by them. Phillip Rivers was 17 out of 30, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And one thing that I'm questioning, they take Phillip Rivers out of the game for the last play for a Hail Mary because Phillip Rivers couldn't really launch the ball down the field. Now I'm trying to think, is this because Phillip Rivers has been on the couch for 5 years and he hasn't went through off-season training to make those type of throws? Because if they're going to bring him back next year, I just don't see why bring Phillip Rivers back if he can't make deep throws at all. Now, put him through the off season and he get his arm right, get arm back right, get his arm strong, gets to training and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's a different story. I think that might be the case. So I would like to see Phillip Rivers back. I would like to see Phillip Rivers go through an entire offseason, get him looking very dangerous this year, but they just couldn't get it through. Daniel Jones got hurt. Even before Daniel Jones got hurt, teams are starting to catch up with him. Teams are starting to slow their offense down because it was slowing Jonathan Taylor down. So I said that. I mean, I was just like, if teams can figure out if you could slow down Jonathan Taylor, you could slow down the Colts offense. And that was the case. And the Colts defense was okay in some games, but their Colts defense was never really like a very serious, intense physical defense. And they got Sauce Gardner, and a lot of people thought that was going to be a major factor. And they got Sauce Gardner, they got another player, but it didn't do absolutely nothing. Sauce Gardner made absolutely no difference. And Sauce Gardner is one of the most overrated defensive players in the entire league. He is the most overrated cornerback in the entire league. And he has been facing injury problems since he's been on the Colts. He has been a huge letdown. He's been a huge letdown in the league. He got paid his big bucks, so I mean he's winning off in that in his personal life, but he is not good. And I don't think anybody think he's good. I heard Keith Talib praise him a lot, but Keith Talib does that, but I be honest with you, I've never been impressed with Sauce Gardner. And then for the Colts to have traded for him and for him to really do absolutely nothing for the Colts, I think it's a huge letdown. So that's that. But we'll see what's going on next year. We'll see what happens next year. I would like to see Phillip Rivers come back, and if I was the Colts GM, I would be like, there is not going to be a quarterback controversy. Phillip Rivers is our starter, and Daniel Jones is our backup. Anthony Richardson is our third string. That will be the case for me, So, and then given the fact that Phillip Rivers is an older man and he could get injured next year, and which I don't think he will. Phillip Rivers has been very durable throughout his entire career, And then Daniel Jones, say something happens with Daniel Jones and Phillip Rivers, you got Anthony Richardson, who you hope will be learning under Phillip Rivers and Jerry Jones, two vets. And you will hope that he would be learning something in that quarterback room. And he got a great quarterback coach, and Shane Steichen, who is your head coach. That should help you. That should do something for you. Like, you should benefit from that. If Anthony Richardson doesn't, it's not really, it's a huge disappointment, So if he can learn under Phillip Rivers and under Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen, that will be a great plus for the Colts. The Colts can have a good. They can have two quarterbacks that they can lean into in the future, and also depending on how long Phillip Rivers wants to play. So you will hope that Anthony Richardson is at least getting better every day, because if he is getting at least better every single day, you got yourself a very strong franchise quarterback. So is it Daniel Jones the all-time answer? Because Daniel Jones is still young. I will say he is, if he is continually getting better. And he has, because this year Daniel Jones has not played at all like this ever in his entire career. So I think the Colts are in a good situation. It's just unfortunate this year has gotten away from them. It's unfortunate. So we'll see. Yeah. And then so the Bucks and Dolphins. My brother said the Bucks was going to win 34-17. My dad said the Bucks was going to win 24-10. I said the Bucks was going to win 25-18. We all three was wrong. The Bucks did not win at all. The Bucks did not win at all. I don't really think that makes any sense. But the Bucks didn't win this game. And Baker Mayfield has been a huge disappointment going into the end of this year. Yeah, I never really been a Baker Mayfield fan. I've always thought he was a little overrated because I always thought a lot of people always praise him too much. I mean, stats wise, he looks good: 33, 44, 346 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. But he had some bad throws in his game, and the Dolphins baited him. The Dolphins picked up. The Dolphins, they made some really great. They made some really great defensive plays to really kind of seal the game with Baker Mayfield trying to make something out of nothing, trying to make some plays, but not something out of nothing, but trying to make some plays. But I think the Dolphins has played very well. I think the Dolphins has kind of switched it around this going into the end of the year. I mean, they haven't. They're not going. They're not going to the playoffs. They've been eliminated from the playoffs. But I think we should give Mike McDaniel one more year. I do. Dolphins beat the Buccaneers 20-17. Don't I don't know if Tampa Bay is eliminated. I have to see, but let me look. I'll look at the playoff picture in a minute. But I think it's Quentin Evers, 14 out of 22, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, looking really good. Otto, he didn't really. Oh, that was rushing. But let's see. Jalen Wallow has been a no factor in this offense whatsoever. Period. But yeah, 2017. Yeah, so it was a good game. It was a good game. And it was very promising for the Dolphins because of Edwards. He actually is playing very well. So that's something for the Dolphins to look forward to. And so I would actually like to see Mike McDaniel one more year with this quarterback and see what he can do with this team because this team is looking a little better going into ending the regular season, going into the offseason. This team is winning games, and that's something that you want to see out of your team. Even though we're out of the playoffs, even though we had a terrible season, can we end the regular season on a good note and something to build that momentum going into our off season and then going to the preseason and then going to the regular season. Football is all about building. It's all about stacking. It's all about just getting better. Just all about getting better. Today was a great day. Next day is going to be an even better day, and so on, so on, so on. If the Dolphins keep building on top of that, I would like to see Mike McDaniel one more year with the Dolphins. I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see Mike McDaniel go somewhere else. I wanted to see Mike McDaniel could be an offensive coordinator for. Because I was just like, I don't think Mike McDaniel is a worthy, well enough, good head coach. But he's showing me that he could turn things around. And that's what I like. And so if they can be consistent next year, they can win games in cold weather that's at least above 40 degrees, below 40 degrees. And if he can get Quentin Edwards, I think his name is Quentin Edwards. I think his name is Quentin. I think his first name is Quentin, but Edwards, right? Which he looks like he is getting Edwards right. And if Edwards can keep improving, I'll be like, okay, we can. The Dolphins can probably make some noise. Maybe they can go to the playoffs next year. We'll see. So yeah, I would like to see one more year with Mike. I would like to see one more year with Mike. If next year becomes a disaster, I think they need to get rid of Mike and go after another coach. But I think he has shown that he can. I think he's showing that he can. That he just had the wrong quarterback. I think that's what it was. Tua was just holding him back. So we'll see. We're going to see, man. We'll see what the Dolphins is going to do, and we'll see if the Dolphins will decide to bring Tyreek Hill back. We'll have to see that. So it's going to be interesting. Very, very interesting for the Dolphins. It's going to be a very interesting offseason for a lot of teams because the NFL is getting more and more competitive. The talent is getting better. Teams are getting better, and it's just going to be very interesting to see the decision making in all of these franchises going into going to the offseason after the Super Bowl. So these playoffs is going to be very exciting. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for the future of the NFL. Okay, so then we got. Oh, I should just keep sharing that screen. I don't know why I keep turning. But got the Giants Raiders. I just was like, nobody. I don't think anyone on planet Earth outside of the fans cared about this game. But I said the Raiders is going to win 12-10. My brother said the Giants is going to win 20-13. My dad said the Giants is going to win 17-10. And let's see, what was the score? Yeah, the Giants blew out the Raiders 34-10. So it's surprising that they put that many points up. But I think, oh wait, who was their quarterback? Oh, Jackson Dart was playing. So Jackson Dart was playing. He was 22 out of 30 for 207 yards. He had no touchdowns. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. That's not surprising. And Tracy, who has 14 and 62. Singletary, he also had a rushing touchdown as well. So the Giants' running game was really, really, it was great. It was really good. No surprise there. This is another team that's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do in the offseason and how they're going to look going into next year. I think the Giants can be pretty good next year. Geno Smith was 20 for 28, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. So Geno Smith was just terrible like he's always been all year. And Genty looking pretty solid, 16 carries, 16 rushing yards. So that's looking pretty good for Genty. And yep, so nothing much to say about this game, but the Raiders, they're at home, got destroyed, got blown out. Yeah, so let's see who their next one. Let's see. So the Eagles are still number 1 in NFC East, and the AFC West, Broncos number 1, Chargers 11-5, and number 2 Chiefs. Yeah, the Raiders. So the Raiders only has 2 wins for the entire year. I think they have the worst record in the entire league, I think. And then so the Eagles and the Bills. This is the last game. So this was a very, very, very good game. The Eagles and the Bills. The Eagles beat the Bills. I said that the Eagles was going to beat the Bills 25-4. So I was very, very right on the point margin. I said the game was going to be decided by 1 point, and it was decided by 1 point. The Bills could have came away with a win on this game, and they did it. Josh Allen had a huge letdown throw, and I mean, I don't know what Josh Allen was thinking. There wasn't really that much pressure for him to have thrown the ball like that and miss his wide open receiver. I think he had 2 guys wide open, and he just missed his receiver. I can't remember who was that. I don't know what receiver that was, but he missed his wide receiver. He was wide open. And they went for the 2, and I'm not going to knock McDermott for going for the 2. I think I would have went for the 2 also. And the play calling wasn't bad. It was just Josh Allen missing that throw. And it's like, you got your franchise quarterback. I'm paying this quarterback all this money. We're going for the win. And they had to win. Josh Allen did what he was supposed to do leading up to that play. And he just, I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know. It was a bad throw. It was a bad throw. There was no explanation for that. It was just a bad throw. And yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world for the Bills. They still in the playoffs. They still can make a run for it, but this is the thing. This isn't why, but like I've always said, I don't think that the Bills are going to. I think the Bills can be a one and done team in the playoffs. I honestly do. I think the Bills are going to. I don't think the Bills are going to scare anybody, and I don't think the Bills are going to beat anybody in the playoffs. Now, depending on what AFC team they play against, which I don't know, but I don't think they're going to win. I honestly feel like if the Bills end up playing somebody like the Steelers, that they can lose. I honestly do. I honestly feel like the way. I feel like if the Bills plays against the Patriots, they can lose. I think the Bills I think they're one and done. I might be eating my words by saying that, but I don't think that Josh Allen, a lot of people are saying like this is Josh Allen's year to really go through the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. I don't see that. I honestly don't see that. I don't think that's going to be the case for Josh Allen. I don't think Josh Allen can win the Super Bowl. I honestly don't think so. I'm not that big on Josh Allen like most people are. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he's a top 5 quarterback. I think he has great talent, but I think he even has Hall of Fame talent. But I don't think that, even with all that being said, I don't think he will ever win a Super Bowl. I don't think that will ever happen with him. And I think that a lot of people don't want to see that. But I think that he's just, the league is getting better. And I think I'm telling you this. I think the Bills window is closing. Josh Allen is still a very young quarterback, and he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. So I don't care if I'm wrong that he could win a Super Bowl, could get some rings, but I don't think so. Not on Justin Herbert's watch. Not on Justin Herbert's watch. I think Justin Herbert's a much better quarterback than Josh Allen. I think he always was and always will be and always will be. And that's that. I mean, Justin Herbert would not have missed that throw. I've never seen Justin Herbert make throws like that. But what the media is going to do is they're going to come up with excuses for Josh Allen. And Josh Allen did have some turnovers. At least I saw him have one turnover, get a fumble. But the Eagles, they look good. The Eagles show that they know how to win. Jalen Carter had a heck of a game. Jalen Carter was freaking dominant the game, this whole entire game. I know Jalen Carter is the most dominant, greatest defensive tackle in the game right now. There isn't a defensive tackle that's better than Jalen Carter. None. And he shows it. He can dominate in any phase of the game. So he took control of this game. He blocked the field goal, sacked Josh Allen when he needed to. Jalen Carter was everywhere. Jalen Carter was the reason why the Eagles won this game. And given that, I think there's also, I'm talking bad about, well, I ain't talking bad about, here I am, I'm Josh Allen, but we need Jalen Hurts. We need to talk about Jalen Hurts. And the thing about it is that Jalen Hurts, I like Jalen Hurts. And my dad is the biggest Jalen Hurts fan ever. But how in the heck, this is kind of scary about the Eagles, that the Eagles find ways to win. Even though I don't think the Eagles can win a Super Bowl this year, which is very much I'm eating my words, very more possibly to win a Super Bowl, because they're showing that they can win games in any phase of the game. They can win in special teams, they can win in defense, they can win in offense. The Eagles knows how to win, and I don't think any team going into the playoffs this year knows how to win games as much as the Eagles. Because the Eagles shows that they can win games in any phase. Jalen Carter, they needed a blocked field goal. Jalen Carter gave them a blocked field goal. They needed a sack. Jalen Carter went out and got them a sack. Jalen Hurts didn't throw for one passing yard the entire second half. Let me repeat that to you. He didn't throw for one passing yard, complete one pass the entire second half, and the Eagles won. That just tells you right there, they know how to win. I mean, the Eagles are a very interesting team. Very, 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 very interesting team. And even though I don't think that they're going to go all the way, they are nothing to look past. And it won't surprise me if they do go to the Super Bowl. I do think they can beat the Seahawks. I do think they can. Do I think they will? No. I think the Seahawks defense is very dominant. It's very scary. The Eagles defense is very scary. The Eagles and the Seahawks are evenly matched. Now, I think if you ask anybody, who would you rather see in the play? Like, who would you rather face in the playoffs? I think anybody would say they would rather face the Seahawks than the Eagles. And that's fair. And I think people trust Jalen Hurts, even though Jalen Hurts does absolutely nothing, has been doing absolutely nothing for weeks. I think that people think that they don't trust Sam Darnold. And I get it. But I do. If the Eagles, and I'm going to say this, because I think the Eagles are a really great team. And like I said, I don't think any team knows how to win going into the playoffs than the Philadelphia Eagles. But I believe if the Eagles were to face the Seahawks in the playoffs, that the Seahawks can beat them. I think the Seahawks can beat them. I think the Seahawks can beat any team. I think the Seahawks is going to be able to beat any team this year in the playoffs other than the Bears. I think it's going to end up being the Seattle Seahawks and the Chicago Bears for the NFC Championship. I think that's going to be the case, and I think the Bears is going to beat the Seahawks for the NFC Championship. And I got to think Logan hard who they're going to see in the AFC in the Super Bowl, because I do think the Chargers can make a run for the Super Bowl. But I've been saying this for a very, very long time. If the Chargers can keep Justin Herbert upright, and if their defense can play consistent, they can beat anybody. But the thing about it is the defense doesn't always play consistent. That's the thing that keeps hurting the Chargers. Their defense doesn't always play consistent, and that's what frustrates me about them, because the Chargers defense has been healthy pretty much throughout the entire year, and we have been very inconsistent. Sometimes we let teams steamroll us. We let teams run all over us. We can't get our running defense together. Sometimes, like, if teams can really run the ball on us, we lose the game. I sit there and I watch every single game. And if we can't keep Justin Herbert upright, we're not going to win any games. We're going to be a one and done. And then Justin Herbert is still going to have no playoff wins on his resume. And it's just going to be a shame. And it's going to be very, very frustrating as a Charger fan. But I believe Jim Harbaugh is going to get us right. I do believe it. I do have faith in him. I do think that he's going to get that offensive line together, make sure the offensive line in the running game is tight. I do believe Jim Harbaugh is going to make sure that running game is playing at an elite level with Kamani and Amari Arnaps. I do believe he's going to get that right. And I do believe that Jim Harbaugh is going to make sure that defense is not let up and play inconsistent. I do believe that too. So, like I said in my last video, if the Chargers were to lose, it will have to be because we can't control what we can control. And that's making sure we block and keep Justin Herbert upright, because the personnel on our offensive line is garbage. So if anything, it can't be because our defense has let Justin Herbert down. That cannot be the case in the playoffs. There should be no reason why the Chargers defense is playing inconsistent, and there should be no reason in heck that they're going to be inconsistent in the playoffs, that they're going to play terrible in the playoffs. There should be no reason for that. I think if I was Jim Harbaugh, even though Justin Herbert is 65 yards away from breaking Peyton Manning's record, I would like to see that. So it's going to be a very hard decision if Jim Harbaugh is going to play Justin Herbert next week. If I was a head coach, and also given the fact that Justin Herbert's hand is hurting, it's not hurting, but it's injured. 65 passing yards. I will give Justin Herbert a half. I will give him a half to break that record. He just needs 65 passing yards. I would do it. I'd be like, let's keep that record alive. Go out there, get your 65 passing yards. Go out. Because the Broncos may not even play their starters next week. They may not even play them. They already clinched. They already clinched the AFC West. So, with that being said, I would play Justin Herbert, and I think Justin Herbert can get 65 yards, more than likely in a quarter, and then I'll sit him. And then I'll let, Chargers, I'll rest all my players, all my starters, to go on the road in the playoffs. So we'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Chargers are going to do next week. But, what they're going to do, if they're going to rest their starters, play them. But I would like to see Justin Herbert break that record. I would like to see that, Peyton Manning's first season record. I would like to see that. So, yeah. And Josh Allen, he was 23 for 35, 262 yards, no touchdowns. So, yeah, no pass touchdowns at all. Cook was solid. He was efficient. 20 for 74 yards. Josh Allen did have 2 rushing touchdowns, 7 carries for 27 yards. Yeah. So Cooks, he had 4 catches, 101 yards. He has some very good contesting catches, some big time catches. I think he was one of those receivers who had that huge catch, by that throw by Josh Allen. So yeah, I think that's it. And I will be back tomorrow for the Monday night football game between the Cardinals and the Atlanta Falcons. So this is gonna I think this is also gonna be a really game, actually, honest with you. And it's unfortunate that the Falcons are not in the playoffs. They were looking really good early in the year, but they just got inconsistent and just started losing games. It should be no reason why the Falcons are losing these many games. Was losing these many games, and with the personnel that they have, with the offensive personnel that they have, the offensive talent that they have, there should be no reason, but they are. And so, yeah, man. I think I did predict the Falcons to beat the Rams. I predicted them to beat the Rams 25-23. That's a bold prediction because they really shouldn't be beating the Rams. But the Rams going into an Atlanta, and Atlanta being the type of team that can win any game because of the personnel. They got Kirk Cousins playing, so Kirk Cousins might make a difference. And I will say this: I got them winning 25-23. The game might be more offensive than that. So, the game. I mean, to be honest with you, it might be more of the game might be more high scoring than just 25-23. It could be like tonight, with the 49ers and the Bears. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I think tomorrow night's going to be very exciting. I think it's going to be a very entertaining game between the Falcons and the Rams. So don't be surprised if the Falcons do end up beating the Rams. Don't be surprised if you see that. Like I said, because I got them beating them. But I'm contradicting myself. The Rams should not lose this game, but I think they will. I think so. I think it's a very, very strong possibility. My bold prediction is a signal that it's a very strong possibility that the Falcons can beat them. So that's what my bold prediction is about. That's why I call it a bold prediction, because the Rams shouldn't lose this game. But again, it's any given Sunday. A team can smack you. A team that is very unexpected. They can make you lose. You going in there, you sleepwalking, and then you get slapped, and then you get knocked out. So that can happen. The Falcons has absolutely nothing to lose. So they're playing for momentum. They're playing for next year. So they want to build that momentum for next year. And I honestly think that Raheem Morris should be let go. If I was a GM, I would not keep Raheem Morris as the head coach. In my opinion, I think Raheem Morris got to go. The Falcons are too talented of a team. They got too many good players on that team for them to be ending this year 6-9 and Bijan Robinson not to be doing anything. And Bijan Robinson has the talent to be the best back in the entire league, and he's not. So I don't know what to like. I like Raheem Morris. I do. I watched him play growing up. He's just not doing a good job in Atlanta. He's not. So, but if they can get this win, and they can get into another win. What's the rest of the record? Maybe Michael. What's the record? I don't know what the record. Wait a minute, I know what the record is, but I'm trying to talk about their schedule. Let's see. They got so after the Rams, they got the Saints. So if they can win these next two games, that can be good momentum going into next year, going to the offseason, and then going to the off season and then, going into the preseason and then a regular season next year, if they can win these 2 games, that could be really good for the Falcons. So I think that I would like to see what the Falcons would do. I would like to see what the Falcons can do next year. I mean, yeah, in the offseason, what they're going to do with Raheem Morris. They're too talented of a team to keep not doing anything in the playoffs, or not even making the playoffs. So, yeah, I would, maybe the Dolphins, I'm just giving speculation out there. Maybe the Dolphins get rid of Mike McDaniel and the Falcons get rid of Raheem Morris and the Falcons pick up Mike McDaniel. But I already said that I think that the Dolphins should give Mike McDaniel 1 more year. But I would like to see Mike McDaniel with an elite talent like the Falcons. The Falcons have a much more elite talent than the Dolphins do, to be honest with you. In a way, the Falcons are they got really good players over there, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you have those good players and that coach is not really doing anything with them. Come on, man. But anyway, that's all I got, and we got 1 more week of football. We got 1 more week, and after that, the playoffs start January 10th. So, you guys, I will see you all, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you all day fam. I will see you all prime time tomorrow night. And I thank you all so much for joining. I thank you all so much for commenting and subscribing and showing your love, supporting this platform, this entire channel. And we're just going to keep getting better and better and better from here on out. We're going to keep building. We're going to stay consistent. And I'm going to stay consistent by at least coming on here live after every primetime game and just chopping it up on the primetime game, giving you my breakdowns, giving you my analysis, giving you my thoughts, and everything. And also my predictions. I start from there, and then I'm going to keep building from there, and it's all about consistency. That's what I'm just focused on right now. I'm just focused on being consistent. Even if I don't watch the games, I'm going to still be on here and talk about it, Yeah, so there should really sometimes be no reason why I don't watch the games unless I'm in class or I'm studying or I'm working on another project, I'm building another project. But outside of that, I should be watching every single game, even though the games could be terrible, like the Giants and the Raiders. Like, who cares about the Giants and the Raiders or the Cowboys and Commanders? But, given what I'm building, I still have to watch it, So that's that. But that's all I have for y'all. And I'll be back tomorrow night or tonight. It's midnight. It's like past midnight. So, yeah, it's 1:23. So, thank you all so much. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And we'll be back very, very soon. All day. Deuces.